Welcome back to NTV Tonight. We want to talk about the next phase of the Building Bridges Initiative process after the launch today. A lot to talk about from that event today. Of course, Deputy President William Ruto outlining what he believes are issues with the recommendations by the steering committee today. And we want to talk with, to rather speak with Kipchumba Murkomen, who is the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet County, immediate former majority leader in the Senate, joining us today. Of course, Senator, you did see what happened at Bomas today. What is a general feeling that you have as regards the events of the day and the launch and, of course, the issues that were raised there today?
Well, thank you, Edmond. Thank you very much for having me this very day. What happened today in Bomas, in summary, is a sum total of the problems that we face as a republic, where we've lived for many years, since 1963, a paradoxical life, a life of contradiction, where men and women are assembled, for example, like today, to discuss matters, unity of the country, building bridges of friendship, to talk about tolerance, to talk about inclusivity, and then you end up having a congregation that has been convened with bias and with instructions and behaviors that we saw today, them booing the deputy president, who perhaps looked like he was among the only one or two people who had alternative views of the things that we'll see in the Building Bridges Initiative. So unfortunately, a function that was designed to be for building bridges became sort of a heckling environment where divergent ideas are not being accommodated. But I want to thank the President and His Excellency the President and his Deputy for demonstrating great maturity. The Deputy President also showing lots of calmness in the situation, and the President himself reprimanding those who do not believe in alternative ideas. And let me say this, Edmond. Most of us, of course, were not invited to that place for obvious reasons, because there was already a predetermined list of the people who should go there, because anybody who was going to ask questions was not welcome to that forum. And luckily, we had a person in the office of the Deputy President who had an alternative view and who spoke for many of us who were not invited to that function.
Let's talk about...
Let me say this.
Yes.
BPI...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about the Deputy President and what he did today. Of course, like I said, just poking holes into some of the issues with the issues that have been raised and recommendations and proposals in that as well. Is that the position of the Deputy President? Because he's been saying, or at least alluding to rejecting the BBI process and the reports in itself. Is this the position of the Deputy President now officially as someone in his circle and just being aware of what is happening, really? Is this a position of the Deputy President and the perceived opponents of this report? You must appreciate the context within which the Deputy President made his comments. Let's start by saying that most of us believe that the most urgent matter in the country today is not amending the Constitution. A good friend of mine said on Twitter, called Mohammed Welie, and something I like to quote, and therefore I must be, as an intellectual property advocate, I need to recognize his words. And he said that in the BBI report, all the positive things that are in the BBI report, and basically which are in this constitutional amendment bill, can be done without the BBI report. But all the bad things in the BBI report cannot be done without the BBI report. So that you find yourself in a situation that most of us have always found ourselves, where we kept saying that most of the things that were being raised, and you remember I went to all these BBI rallies, and one of the things that I challenged the leaders who were there in Meru, which was the last BBI rally, which I attended, was why, if all these things, you hear the things about agriculture, the things about youth unemployment, the things about higher education loans board and moratorium that is given to young people who are graduating because they don't have jobs. the question I've always asked myself is that if that is the position on this issue, this is the position on this issue, why do we need constitutional amendment to sort these issues? That was the concern. Those are the things we were raising. And then, now I'm building this argument that the deputy president had no choice. You see, you can have a choice not to initiate amendment of the Constitution. But once any citizen of the Republic initiates amendment of the Constitution, as per the dictates of the Constitution, every citizen must participate. And as the Deputy President said, we cannot run away from then that engagement. And it's from that perspective that the Deputy President picked about 5 issues that he thinks that it is going to claw back the gains that we achieved in our 2010 Constitution, so that then any amendment that one proposes in the Constitution must be progressive. It must not be a clawback. And the Deputy President properly capture those issues, whether it was the independence of the judiciary, whether it's the question of independence of the institutions of the police. I mean, honestly, are we saying now that our police officers will go back to be managed from the Public Service Commission? Are we also saying that you do away with the National Police Service, which is an independent institution, and we move again to some National Police Council or something, Police Council, where the Cabinet Secretary of Interior is going to have an overload on the Inspector General of Police and the independence of the police sector. It is the same issues we are discussing here that we are saying the Deputy President has raised the ground. And I want to really speak about devolution. The 35% that is proposed to be devolved to the counties can be done today. It doesn't wait for a constitutional amendment, because at the moment we are almost near 20%. There is nothing that stops the government of the day to take it to 35%.
Many would argue, Senator, may I interject? Many may argue that setting a baseline of, say, 15% would perhaps mean that the government of the day would decide to do 16 or whatever percentage that is. And embedding it in the law, Senator, many argue, makes it safe for the counties so that we don't have to argue every other time about how much we release into the counties. And that decision being included in the Constitution then means, as a baseline, then we move on from there. Because leaving it at 15%, many argue, yes.
You are perfectly right. And if you had just allowed me to complete my sentence, you would have got what I was saying. That it is true that today the government can take it even to 50%. But the people of Kenya are saying, and we had proposed in the Senate that we should put it 40%. But there's a proposal in BBI that says 35%. So that proposal gives to the people of Kenya, through devolution, 35% on the right hand, and on the left hand, does away with the responsibility of the institution of the Senate under Article 218 to perform its role of ensuring that division of revenue bill, which is done every year, is properly negotiated to achieve that minimum of 35% that is provided for in the Constitution. There is no other guarantee mechanism. The President of the Republic can stand up and say, okay, the Constitution says 35%, but I can only afford 20%. But if the Senate is maintained, the strength of the Senate under Article 218 is maintained, or even enhanced and strengthened, then it will, in the negotiation of the division of revenue bill every year, it will make it possible that the national government cannot appropriate any resources to themselves until the division of revenue bill is concluded and negotiated between both houses. That's why the Deputy President raised very important issues about the strengthening of the Senate. The question of decision-making in the Senate under Article 123, which requires that all decisions of the Senate, unlike National Assembly, all decisions of the Senate must always achieve the majority of the counties. Now it's been left to the whims of the senators who will be present there. If there are 30 and the majority of 30, 20 senators, even if they come from one region or one area, yes, they can make decisions. The reason why the people of Kenya in 2010 protected decision-making in the Senate is because of the equality of the vote in the Senate to protect the territorial integrity of the various counties and the guarantee of resources and protection of counties. We are saying that the Deputy President has done something very important. It has helped the people of Kenya, because everybody else who was coming there was playing sycophantic role, apart from Musalia Mudavadi and Mama of Baby Pendo, and one or two others. The rest were coming to sing a song saying, we support this BBI, we must pass it immediately.
All right.
The deputy president guided the nation to go back to auditing the contents of the report itself and putting that audit process, basing it on the baseline of, as a nation, whether we have we are protecting our progressive constitution and safeguarding the gains that are already provided.
All right,
for
Senator, let's take this forward, because obviously there's some form of discord. People do not seem to agree. How do we engage then? Because there are reports that the deputy president has actually suggested that he wants to make some sort of submissions, and from what he said today, we see those points of divergence. Is he going to be speaking to the steering committee or whichever authority there is going forward to include some of these things?
One of the challenges we have with the BBI is that the process is always given like, the prescription of medicine, some kind of antibiotics. And then you are given, it's told you swallow one in the morning, one in the evening, and then you are not even told how many tablets you have. So nobody knows exactly where we are going after here. We are all waiting now again for the president to give guidance as to, okay, we have a report that has been provided. It's been unveiled. Now the discussion has begun. Where are these discussions going to? Who is collecting the information that is improving this document? After it has been collected, where does it move from there? One of the challenges that BBI goes through is that it is one of the most mysterious constitutional changing process, which is almost like a privatized process. If you compare it with the Yashpal Guy Commission's work, if you compare it with the Krikla report, if you compare it to all the TJRC report and all the other public reports that have been collected in this country, that have gone through enormous public discussion and where the roadmap is clear, this one has always been shrouded with a lot of mystery because we keep being told it's a handshake between two people. You will be told you must do this. Some of the characters who are purportedly speaking on behalf of the president and the former prime minister are telling us, Mupende musipende, reggae must go, don't be scared, we will pass, we must have referendum. That is the environment we are operating in. I believe, and I want to assume, that the body language of the president today and his comments in Kisii and today, he will now provide a mechanism where every Kenyan, the Mkokoteni guy, the wheelbarrow person, the industrialist, the politicians, will now, like you saw Bishop Okinde, again, one of the very, very, very level-headed and sober speaker today, who said that as a church, we are now going to read the document and prepare submissions. Okay. So we need to be told where are those submissions going, because as per the Gazette notice that was gazetted, the mandate of the steering committee already lapsed. So what next?
Okay, thank you so much, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen. Have to take a break at this point in time. Thank you so much for your sentiments on that. Of course, people are still wondering how we proceed from here in terms of the next phase of this process. And we have in studio as well the National Assembly Majority Leader, the Honorable Amos Kimunya, to talk to us about Parliament's role and what happens next in this process. He's supporting the BBI, of course, so he would know what happens next. Perhaps. Stay with us.